Hi there, this is Susie back again, and today she is going to talk about different types of philodendrons. Philodendrons are actually a native of Mexican, Brazilian and all those subtropical climate in the southern Americas. And in front of me I have got one of the philodendrons called gold bullion. This particular gold bullion is a new hybrid that has got a registration on it. What that actually means that you can't go around repotting and selling without the knowledge of the hybridizer, because they hold the patency on the registration gold bullion. And the gold, isn't it beautiful? Like compared to our normal green Xanadu, this is obviously hybridized from the normal Xanadu philodendron to give you a beautiful golden leaf, a good contrast from all the green that is surrounding you. So to have a contrast, it's nice to have something different, something like gold. And I'm sure Aussies love their Aussie, they just love their gold and green. So you can have a good comparison between the golden leaves and the green leaves. Now, what is so nice about this plant, if you turn the leaf, you can see the beautiful reddish or coppery veins at the back, and similarly you can also see it in the front. That gives you a beautiful many different colors into a leaf, really. And you know, it's doesn't grow much more than 60 centimeters by 60 centimeters, which is just on a meter by meter. So it's a handy plant to have it in the boxes, planter boxes, outside or inside. But in Victoria, make sure that they are covered or protected from the frost. If you are thinking about putting in front of your houses, in entrances, in planter boxes or in big pots or whatever, make sure that the frost don't get to them. So you need to be very mindful about where is the best place for it. Normally you would have them inside the house, that's what we all do. We love our indoor plants, and we are the lovers of all sorts of indoor plants. And philodendron, family of philodendron, which is the Araceae overall family, is very popular as an indoor plant. So what I like about philodendrons is, number one, they are hardy. They don't mind if you don't water them for a while. They will be still standing strong. They tolerate cold conditions. They will also tolerate heat, and it also is a showstopper, because different leaf structures, as you can see in front of me, different leaf structures, you know, they just make a, you know, beautiful indoor plants. So one thing good about them is that they are petite. They don't grow very tall, and one of the top plants on my list. At the moment, people haven't seen them around because it is a fairly new hybrid, and once people know about this gold bullion, I'm sure it will be a star performer for them, as well as a good contrast from deep green leafy things to have a bit of gold attached to it in your collection. Bright light is one of the things that comes to my mind that they like. In growing season, spring, summer, make sure that you feed your plants with a nice liquid fertilizer, and organic fertilizer is what most of the philodendrons like, and also they are pest resistant actually, so you not gonna have too many pests like scales, white flies, or mealybugs and stuff, on it. So it is quite a good pest resistant plants that you can have, but try not to overwater in winter, which is very important. Keep the plants dry, and once the soil is nice and dry, you can give, especially this size pot, which is about I suppose 17 centimeter pot, give about 2 cups of water and water from the base. Have a saucer. In most of your winter watering, make sure that you water all your plants from the bottom, and the tepid water or warm water to the touch, not hot water, but just to the touch. Nice warm water is always a good idea to water your plants in winter, because most plants do feel the cold like we do. We wear jerseys to keep ourselves warm. They are naked really, so you try to provide some sort of warmth for them, whether it be some sort of heater. Heater is really not good for them, but that's how you're gonna have temperatures above 15 degrees to about 28 degrees is the ideal temperature that they like. So providing that over 15 degree temperature, sometimes you have to have the heating going to give them the warmth. So you do the right thing, but don't forget, having heaters would have dry air inside your house, and to combat dry air inside your house, make sure that you have a bowl of water sitting somewhere inside your house to give that humidity to your plants or the atmosphere. As you know, most philodendron are also good for as a air purifier, they take a lot of toxins, especially formaldehyde from the atmosphere. And the test has been scientifically proven by NASA that some of these plants were tested actually in India for about few months, I think, or a year, to see how plants react to indoors, and what kind of fresh air do they provide if there is any changes in the air. And they have found out that philodendrons were one of the best plants as a air purifier, which is good for our health, because as you know, most plants give out oxygen at night, and we like to breathe in oxygen, and of course they breathe out carbon dioxide during the day. So with us, plants are a beneficial part of our health, plus our mental health. So it's nice to have plants, especially these COVID-19 times that we are all countries are going through. It's a good mental stimulus for us, stimulus as it gives our entire health something to look forward to, something to care for. Rather than getting bored, you can start looking after some of these plants. It keeps our mind off what's going out in the rather very sick world at the moment. Now, from gold bullion, which is, as you know, is the same shape of leaves as this particular one, the Xanadu. This Xanadu, Philodendron Xanadu, it's a fully established plant, as you can see, in a 25 centimeter pot. So it's not going to grow any bigger than a meter to meter and a half by meter to meter and a half. And you can control the size of any indoor plants by the size of your pots. That's important. So if you want smaller plants, it's better for you to plant it in a smaller pot. But this size pot, obviously, it has given you the full height. And it is very lovely, and it, as you can see, it gives you a nice contrast with gold bullion here. Nice green Xanadu with the nice golden Xanadu is a beautiful contrast. And I love these philodendrons because number one, what I like about them is they are hardy. They are beautiful, hardy plants, nice and healthy. Feed your plants every month except winter. As soon as the growth season starts, you need to organic feed your plants and make sure that your plants are also planted in a free draining soil. Most plants cannot tolerate, especially in winter, cannot tolerate excessive water around its roots because you can have root rots, you can have stem rots, and it's only caused by overwatering. I'm sure you must have heard it hundreds of times. Stop overwatering. So in winter, that's what you need to do. Let your soil dry out, not completely, but at least top 3 centimeters. Let it dry out and then water your plant from the bottom in winter. It doesn't matter about in summer, you can water it from top or bottom, it doesn't really matter. That just saves from rotting. And then we have philodendrons that also loves climbing. This is in front of me is Philodendron pinatum, which is also known as silver sword. And this plant has got nice, beautiful silvery leaves, as you can see. And it just gives you a different texture in leaves and also different color in leaves. And one thing it does love doing is climbing. As you can see, it's in the totem is attached to it. And if I wasn't a seller, if I had this in my place inside my house, I would wrap this totem in sphagnum moss. Sphagnum moss provides two things. It can keep the plant nice and moist because of the sphagnum moss containing the moisture. And if you can either water the sphagnum moss or you don't have to water it, but it is a good anchor for the plants. It's a good anchor for the aerial roots and subterranean roots to grab hold of the totem to climb. And that's exactly what this one is doing here. I can see the roots wrapped around here. Whether or not you can see it, but that's how the roots tries to wrap around the totem. It's just the sphagnum moss helps a lot more, you know. This is very dry, of course, because I haven't been watering the totem, but if you had this sphagnum moss, especially in spring and summer, you will have it moist rather than in winter. In winter, you probably won't have the sphagnum moss wet, but it's a good thing to have it in summer because then you've got a lot of moisture around it and it does love a bit of humidity. I mean, philodendrons are very hardy, so whether or not they get the humidity or not, they're not really that fussy. Now, from this particular climber of philodendron, here's another one, which is the Rojo Congo. There are many types of different names of this particular type of philodendron. I mean, you can get black cardinal, red cardinal, orange philodendron, and you know, there are a few other types of philodendrons with similar type of leaves, and they're all climbers. They just love climbing. This particular one, you know, there's no stoppage. If it loves climbing, it will climb up to so many meters. You know, the meters are not really a problem with climbers of philodendrons, and in pots we can control the height. In this sense, in this case here, it's in a 17 centimeter pot, and the size is controlled by the size of the pot, and this can grow up to a meter to meter and a half inside the house. You know, you can control it. You can pinch it, you know, to the second node, and you'll get up more bushy, more denser look in philodendron. Similar to this, you can pinch it up to a second node. This is the first node here, I guess, and the second node is the second leaf thing here. One leaf, two leaves. So as long as you got two leaves, and then cut it from there, and then you can then plant. You can then put it in a with some water and let it root in a vase or something. And it's very easy to root some of these philodendrons. They're not a hard plant to look after either, and rooting is also very easy. Here's the other philodendron that is a dwarf variety, which is another hybrid from the family of Salum and the Hope, and it's a smaller version of Philodendron superatum. This is the name of this particular plant, and it's a hybrid, and it's got beautiful smaller leaf, as you can see, and it's ruffled edges that makes it really beautiful, different, and it's a fairly new indoor plant, superatum, and you will get lots of little babies that you can take it out and plant it, which is an easy one to grow from its mother plant, and I think it's a showstopper really, because I just love the curly leaves, a different formation, and it just gives a different dimension to your other plant collection. So it's one of my favorite, becoming one of my favorites really. And because of its size, it does not grow any bigger than a meter by meter, and it has got a strong stem, as you can see, and this stem will just keep on getting bigger, larger, like you would see a stem in a coconut tree or something like that, and it will have a nice strong brown base, and the leaves will just start forming new leaves, and you probably could get up to a meter really, because indoor plants, you can always control the size by the size of the pot. Now, there are many other 200 to 300 other species of such philodendrons. I did have a Ceylon, which I have already sold out of, and that is rather quite a nice established plant I had, and they just sold out within a couple of days, and it was also a very popular one for indoors because it makes some nice statement plants. Some of these plants are just beautiful, you can have it on its own, or you can have it amongst other plants for the texture, for the color. It just gives that beautiful different leaf textures in your own collection. I love indoor plants, especially philodendrons. Number one, they are one of the easiest plants really. They don't really mind being in the cold, they don't mind in the heat, they tolerate many conditions. So that's a good part about philodendrons. And don't forget that if you have pets, especially dogs and cats, they are poisonous for them. And if your pets love munching away on leaves and plants and things like that, it's not a good idea to have philodendrons. Although it's good for our health, well-being, good air purifier, but not necessarily it's good for your pets. So choose your plants wisely. And some people do train their pets to love plants but not to eat them, and they get used to the plants and they never touch it, they never munch it. There's ways of training your pets to love the plants but not to munch it, and then you can work together with your pets in that sense. Now, I don't know what else to talk about. I suppose if you ever wanted to repot it, don't forget that the soil needs to be a free draining soil. I normally like to use premium quality soil with cacti and succulent mix, and also orchid mix. 3-4 different types of soils that I mix to make my soil nice and free flowing. If you want to add perlite to it, you can add perlite. A bit of vermiculite wouldn't hurt, but go with the natural things out there. Like I like to use natural plant mixes, which are premium quality soil, succulent and cacti mix with orchid mix it all in, and you can have a great, nice quality soil to repot your plants. And you do that in spring, not in winter, because some people are good at doing winter repotting. Some, if you are not very familiar with how to, if you're a novice, it's better to wait till spring to repot your plants. Then you're not gonna lose it if you sometimes upset the rooting system. It may die on you. So just be very careful when you repot your plants or separate your plants or do something like that. Do it in spring, which is the best time of the year. Now, I think I've covered everything, and if I haven't, do send me a question on my YouTube, and I'm more than happy to answer if you have any questions in regards to it. And as you know, spring is not that far away. That would be your time to give all your plants a good feed of liquid fertilizer. You know, I use Yates Thrive, and you can now also buy Yates Dynamic Lifter in liquid form, which are good natural organic fertilizers. I mean, other products are all right, but this is what I use. You know, as long as they're organic, it doesn't really matter what you give it to your plants. All the best and take care. Bye for now.